adventure in creature experience, one which had had unusual misfortunes, but no planet could ever be in such a condition that it would require the bestowal of a Creator Son to effect its spiritual rehabilitation. Any son of the bestowal group would have equally sufficed, for in all their work on the worlds of a local universe, the magisterial sons are just as divinely effective and all-wise as would have been their paradise brother, the Creator Son. Though the possibility of disaster always attends these paradise sons during their bestowal incarnations, I have yet to see the record of the failure or default of either a magisterial or a Creator Son on a mission of bestowal. Both are of origin too close to absolute perfection to fail. They indeed assume the risk, really become like the mortal creatures of flesh and blood, and thereby gain the unique creature experience, but within the range of my observation they always succeed. They never fail to achieve the goal of the bestowal mission. The story of their bestowal and planetary service throughout Nebadon constitutes the most noble and fascinating chapter in the history of your local universe. 6. The Mortal Bestowal Careers. The method whereby a paradise son becomes ready for mortal incarnation as a bestowal son, becomes enmothered on the bestowal planet, is a universal mystery, and any effort to detect the working of this Sonarrington technique is doomed to meet with certain failure. Let the sublime knowledge of the mortal life of Jesus of Nazareth sink into your souls, but waste no thought in useless speculation as to how this mysterious incarnation of Michael of Nebadon was effected. Let us all rejoice in the knowledge and assurance that such achievements are possible to the divine nature, and waste no time on futile conjectures about the technique employed by divine wisdom to effect such phenomena. On a mortal bestowal mission, a paradise son is always born of woman and grows up as a male child of the realm, as Jesus did on Urantia. These sons of supreme service all pass from infancy through youth to manhood, just as does a human being. In every respect they become like the mortals of the race into which they are born. They make petitions to the Father, as do the children of the realms in which they serve. From a material viewpoint, these human divine sons live ordinary lives with just one exception. They do not beget offspring on the worlds of their sojourn. That is a universal restriction imposed on all orders of the paradise bestowal sons. As Jesus worked on your world as the carpenter's son, so do other paradise sons labor in various capacities on their bestowal planets. You could hardly think of a vocation that has not been followed by some paradise son in the course of his bestowal on some one of the evolutionary planets of time. When a bestowal son has mastered the experience of living the mortal life, when he has achieved perfection of attunement with his indwelling adjuster, thereupon he begins that part of his planetary mission designed to illuminate the minds and to inspire the souls of his brethren in the flesh. As teachers, these sons are exclusively devoted to the spiritual enlightenment of the mortal races on the worlds of their sojourn. The mortal bestowal careers of the Michaels and the Avonals, while comparable in most respects, are not identical in all. Never does a magisterial son proclaim, "Whosoever has seen the Son has seen the Father," as did your Creator Son when on Urantia and in the flesh. But a bestowal Avonal does declare, "Whosoever has seen me has seen the eternal Son of God." The magisterial sons are not of immediate descent from the universal Father, nor do they incarnate subject to the Father's will. Always do they bestow themselves as paradise sons, subject to the will of the eternal Son of Paradise. When the bestowal sons, creator or magisterial, enter the portals of death, they reappear on the third day. But you should not entertain the idea that they always meet with the tragic end encountered by the Creator Son who sojourned on your world 1900 years ago. The extraordinary and unusually cruel experience through which Jesus of Nazareth passed has caused Urantia to become locally known as the world of the cross. It is not necessary that such inhuman treatment be accorded a Son of God, and the vast majority of planets have afforded them a more considerate reception, allowing them to finish their mortal careers, terminate the age, adjudicate the sleeping survivors, and inaugurate a new dispensation, without imposing a violent death. A bestowal son must encounter death, must pass through the whole of the actual experience of mortals of the realms, but it is not a requirement of the divine plan that this death be either violent or unusual. When bestowal sons are not put to death by violence, they voluntarily relinquish their lives and pass through the portals of death, not to satisfy the demands of stern justice or divine wrath, but rather to complete the bestowal, to drink the cup of the career of incarnation and personal experience in all that constitutes a creature's life as it is lived on the planets of mortal existence. Bestowal is a planetary and a universe necessity, and physical death is nothing more than a necessary part of a bestowal mission. When the mortal incarnation is finished, the avonal of service proceeds to paradise, is accepted by the Universal Father, returns to the local universe of assignment, and is acknowledged by the Creator Son. Thereupon the bestowal avonal and the Creator Son send their conjoint spirit of truth to function in the hearts of the mortal races dwelling on the bestowal world. In the pre-sovereignty ages of a local universe, this is the joint spirit of both sons, implemented by the creative spirit. It differs somewhat from the spirit of truth which characterizes the local universe ages following a Michael's seventh bestowal. Upon the completion of a Creator Son's final bestowal, the Spirit of Truth previously sent into all avonal bestowal worlds of that local universe changes in nature, becoming more literally the spirit of the sovereign Michael. This phenomenon takes place concurrently with the liberation of the Spirit of Truth for service on the Michael mortal bestowal planet. Thereafter, each world honored by a magisterial bestowal will receive the same Spirit Comforter from the sevenfold Creator Son, in association with that magisterial Son, which it would have received had the local universe sovereign personally incarnated as its bestowal Son. 7. The Trinity Teacher Sons. These highly personal and highly spiritual Paradise Sons are brought into being by the Paradise Trinity. They are known in Havona as the Order of Daenals. In Orvanton they are of record as Trinity Teacher Sons, so named because of their parentage. On Salvington they are sometimes denominated the Paradise Spiritual Sons. In numbers, the Teacher Sons are constantly increasing. The last universal census broadcast gave the number of these Trinity Sons functioning in the central and super-universes as a little more than 21 billion, and this is exclusive of the Paradise Reserves, which include more than 1/3 of all Trinity Teacher Sons in existence. The Daenal order of sonship is not an organic part of the local or super-universe administrations. Its members are neither creators nor retrievers, neither judges nor rulers. They are not so much concerned with universe administration as with moral enlightenment and spiritual development. They are the universal educators, being dedicated to the spiritual awakening and moral guidance of all realms. Their ministry is intimately interrelated with that of the personalities of the Infinite Spirit, and is closely associated with the Paradise Ascension of creature beings. These sons of the Trinity partake of the combined natures of the three Paradise deities, but in Havona they seem more to reflect the nature of the Universal Father. In the super-universes they seem to portray the nature of the Eternal Son, while in the local creations they appear to show forth the character of the Infinite Spirit. In all universes they are the embodiment of service and the discretion of wisdom. Unlike their Paradise brethren, Michaels and Avonals, Trinity Teacher Sons receive no preliminary training in the central universe. They are dispatched directly to the headquarters of the super-universes, and from there are commissioned for service in some local universe. In their ministry to these evolutionary realms, they utilize the combined spiritual influence of a Creator Son and the associated magisterial sons, for the Daenals do not possess a spiritual drawing power in and of themselves. 8. Local Universe Ministry of the Daenals. The Paradise Spiritual Sons are unique Trinity origin beings, and the only Trinity creatures to be so completely associated with the conduct of the dual origin universes. They are affectionately devoted to the educational ministry to mortal creatures and the lower orders of